You're about to enter the world of Strawberry Ice and the Ice Cave. Let's go!
You know, the league rule was you're not really supposed
to take him out of that conversation. And that
he started from absolute scratch.
I would draft Aziz Ojulari or any.
Nobody's doing 7-step drops in
playing tackle for him. So
right.
It's
he's almost 22 years old. Devonta Smith, same thing.
You just can't. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I thought that 2010
that should be in the Hall of Fame, and they put him in after he is gone. So that's
to fill the stadium.
I remember you guys saying that.
It's crazy.
I see that he's taken the non.
But overall, that line wasn't better.
No,
he's talking to the refs and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to get those calls."
He's coming. He's coming, and he's being section 158 with me. So
these guys have learned basically since they've been in the major leagues.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Ken Riley and Ken Anderson, who are the newest, original nominees to be inducted to the Bengals Hall of Fame. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit the like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm up to 1,242 subscribers. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And as always, we're doing super chats in the YouTube channel. So if you guys like to support what I'm doing, go to the YouTube channel and give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, yesterday it came out that Ken Anderson and the Rattler Ken Riley are in the inaugural class of the Ring of Honor. So I had to go to my man, Ken Riley. Kenny, what's going on, man?
Hey, not so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, and congratulations, man. How excited are you guys and your family?
We're extremely excited. It's a big honor for my father, and so excited he could be a part of the inaugural, like I said, Ring of Honor for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Exactly. And like I told you the other day, next stop is going to be Canton. It's going to happen. I'm hoping this year. We'll see what happens, but I think it's awesome that the Bengals have finally done this, and it's cool that he goes in with Ken Anderson. And I don't know if you heard, I'm sure you heard Ken Anderson and the great words he said about your father yesterday. And there's been so many nice things about your dad. Like Chris Collinsworth has said that he learned more from your dad than anybody else. What are some great or just fun stories about your dad that you haven't said yet? Because I know you've been on my show a couple times. You've been all over the place here lately.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any other stories, because there's a lot been said, but it's definitely an honor, and it really makes us, me and my family, feel proud to hear so many great speak so highly of my father. From the Collinsworths, Ken Anderson, and it's contemporary period too. Not only Mel Blunt, James Lawson, and so many other players, because it's a brotherhood. But to have so many people respect and speak so highly of them, it really means a lot, and makes us even that much more proud of it. And like I said, it's a great honor. Exactly,
and I can't wait for Thursday night football, because that's when they are going to do the induction of your father, and they're also going to be commemorating the 1981 Super Bowl team. So are you going to be giving a speech during this time, or have you been told yet, or how's all that going to go as far as you know?
No, I think it's a ceremony at halftime. So I know that it's the 40th year for the 81 anniversary team, and I think they're inviting all of the finalists for the Ring of Honor. So it's going to be a lot of, former players, and it's going to be a great time. I don't think it's going to be a speech at that time, because like I said, it's just during halftime. I know they're going to have some other activities before the game. So at that time, I think it's I don't know the details as of yet, but I know that the celebration will be at halftime to honor the inaugural class of the Ring of Honor.
Well, it's going to be an absolute blast, and just to let everybody know, you are celebrating your son's birthday today, so that's why you're in a car. You're at an ATV park. Is that right?
Yeah, it's in Crosby, Texas, and that's why I have on the sleeves and the get up because he just turned 16 yesterday, so we're here today celebrating his birthday. That's what made it yesterday even that much more special because it was my son's 16th birthday. He's Ken Riley III. So it was definitely a great day yesterday to celebrate my dad being part of the inaugural class as well as my son's birthday, who's the third. So it was a great day yesterday.
Yeah, that's a great birthday present, man. I mean, I don't know. Well, I can think of one maybe better day is when he gets in the Canton, but we'll get there eventually. But that's great. It could have worked out better for you. I mean, I'm so glad you this is happening for you and your family. And just real quick here, I know you want to get to your son's birthday party. I appreciate you coming on, but can you discuss the relationship that your father had with the Brown family and what that means to them?
Yeah, it means a lot because he definitely his heart was always in Cincinnati, and he stayed in contact with Mr. Mike Brown throughout the years, definitely during the season, even through the good and bad times, he would always reach out and call them. And, from time to time, they would definitely have, whatever they had a celebration or asked him to come up, he would come up. And if my father ever, needed something from Brown, they've always been right there for him and support him. So definitely we owe a lot to the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's been that gave him his start. He was there for 15 years. So it's definitely a family, and Cincinnati will be always part of our family. And we appreciate, everything that the Bengals have done. And we appreciate the fans as well. Without the fan support, they've been great, especially the presence of social media. And I know that they've had the jungle to Canton. This year was over 200 fans that travel to Canton to support the former Bengal great. So that's off to the fans of Who Dey Nation. They've been awesome. Like there's been nothing but love and support for my father and my family, and we really do appreciate it. Exactly.
Very well said. I got a super chat here from Hank Carshell, I think I said. He says retire number 13. $13 super chat in honor of Ken Riley. Now, your dad's number isn't officially retired, but nobody's wore it in a game, right? We talked about this, I think, last time you were on the show. I think we thought a punter or something like that might have had it in the preseason, but nobody's actually wore the number 13 in a regular season game for the Bengals. Is that true?
Yeah, it's not officially retired, but Coach Paul Brown told my father that nobody else would number 13. I think the only Bob Johnson, I think he was the first draft pick. I think he's the one that's only officially retired. But, it's unofficial but officially retired.
Right. Exactly.
It's a cool thing.
So when I went up to the jungle to the hall up there, I was wearing the shirt I got from you, and I got a lot of compliments on that. And I had lots of people ask me where I got it from, how do they get it, and so. Since you're on here, do you have any more? Are you making any more? Is there any way people can get these shirts?
It's been a slow process. KenRiley13.org is where his website for the Ken Riley Foundation. I'm still working on it, but yes, those shirts and a couple more will be available in support of the Ken Riley Foundation. So hopefully coming soon. I'll definitely let you know, and I'll make sure on social media that they're aware where they can purchase those shirts. But hopefully coming soon.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you much longer. I appreciate you coming on. I'll let you get back to your son's birthday. Yesterday was a great day in Bengals history. I cannot wait till Thursday night to see you guys on the field. Hopefully I'll get to actually meet you in person. We can hug it out, shake hands, celebrate. It's going to be a good day. So thanks for coming on, Kenny, and you take it easy, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. And as always, you have a great show, and I look forward to meeting you soon.
Thanks, Kenny. Who day, buddy?
All right, man. Take care.
See ya. All right, that was cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that. he was on his, like I said, he's at his son's birthday party. So I didn't really want to take up too much of time. And he's been, very, very free with his time. He's been on everybody's show or podcast. And, I'm just a average fan with a YouTube show / podcast. So now I got to get to my original guest here. And we're going to talk some Reds here. I know I'm wearing Bengals stuff, but I was mostly because Ken Riley was there and all that stuff's going on. And I'm kind of extremely frustrated with the Reds right now. So let's try to have some fun, even though we're all irritated with what's going on with the Reds. Hopefully they'll turn around. But let's get to none other than from Locked On Reds, Jeff Carr. What's going on, Jeff?
What's going on, Jeff? Good to be on the show again. And yeah, it wouldn't be Cincinnati sports without talking about something fun and something frustrating.
Right, exactly. And I right before All-Star break, I said, somebody challenged me on the show, said, first they said, if the Reds win the game Friday night against the Boozers, which I call the Brewers the Boozers, we shotgun a beer. I said, how about this? I said, if they win the series going into the All-Star break, I'll shotgun a beer. So they won. I shotgunned a beer, did it on the show. Then get all high on my horse, like, man, you know what? That worked so well last time. If they sweep the Boozers out of the break, I'm going to shotgun a beer again. Nope, we got swept. We've won one game. one game since the All-Star break. Nick Castellanos has microfractures. The bullpen's in shambles. Is there any hope, Jeff? Can you give me some hope?
I believe so. There's some guys that are coming back here soon. Plus, you have the trade deadline. I believe they're going to do something. I don't think they're going to sit on their hands this year like they did this last offseason. And I think they're going to make at least one or two moves should they deem themselves buyers, which I think that this weekend is going to go a long way to solidifying that nomer.
Yeah, and then they did make some moves today. I got to bring the graphic up here. And well, when we say make moves, the thing I'm worried about is I don't want them to make moves to detract from the team. But here are the transactions that they made today. Unfortunately, Nick Castellanos has been placed on the 10-day IL, but that did enable them to bring up Vladimir Gutierrez and Alejo Lopez. They also put Amir Garrett on the 3-day paternity list. Now, go ahead and explain. You're explaining to me why they can bring up Goody a lot faster than we thought they would.
Yeah, so normally there is a minimum stay in the minor leagues once a player is sent down, but there is one caveat. If an injury takes place, that player can then be brought up within that minimum time frame. So otherwise, I think he would have had to stay until at least, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Something like that. So that's why they were able to bring him up so quickly. And it gives us a pretty quick answer as to whether or not Jeff Hoffman's going to get another start. No, I firmly believe this means that Goody's going to get that next one.
I hope not. Now, let's get into that. We were kind of talking about this off air. David Bell, who I think has done a really good job managing this year. I'll put that out there before I start crushing him. But he said that he was going to have Hoffman start to give Luis Castillo and Tyler Mahle a couple other extra days of rest because they pitched before the All-Star break and they pitched right after it. Yep. What the hell happened? Then he set Gutierrez down and there's no rest. Where did that go?
I definitely think David Bell's an optimist, right? He makes some bets and some moves and some gambles that seem like, boy, oh boy, if they pay off in spades. It's like crazy payoff. And then when they don't, it's very detrimental. And now we're kind of looking at this like, okay, he came out of the All-Star break with this 6-man rotation idea, firmly expecting Mahle, Castillo, and Gray to pitch well in that weekend series against the Brewers and then get an extra day and then pitch well again in the weekend series against the Cardinals. The problem was they pitched just okay. Castillo pitched the best of the three, but he got his lead taken away very quickly whenever the bullpen came in. So you look at that and you say, now, if they don't pitch amazing against this Cardinals team this weekend, then that bet's going to be just so catastrophic because I think we all understood whenever Jeff Hoffman came back, his best role suited for him would be out of the bullpen. Give him maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 good innings, because stats show when a hitter has seen him more than one time in a ball game, they just crush him. Whatever is coming to the plate is getting killed, and he doesn't throw a whole lot of strikes. Well, of course, that happened the first time through the order. This last time, so hard to say there. But I think that we all now know that that was seriously a gamble, that he would even pitch an okay 4 innings, and he didn't even do that. He got destroyed against the Mets. So this has really put the Reds into a bind, and that's why I'm calling this weekend a make or break weekend in terms of the season.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point, because we could go. What you said at the beginning of the when we start talking here is that they will do something at the deadline. If this weekend, if they don't win the series and they are, I don't know, 10 games out, yeah, they might be doing something at the deadline, but it might be trading people away, which will really irritate the bejesus out of me, because if they would have done something in the offseason, or I don't know, during the season to help the bullpen, we wouldn't be in this problem.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I will tell you this, Jeff, I'll talk you off the ledge just a little bit.
Would you please need help?
They could sell a couple of guys. They could trade away a couple of guys with creative moves and reload for 2022. Not necessarily make trades with the idea of tearing down and rebuilding in a couple of years. They could trade guys like expiring contracts like Wade Miley, which would suck because we love Wade. Yeah. They could trade Tucker Barnhart, which would suck because he's one of my favorite players that's ever donned the uniform. And they could trade Nick Castellanos if they can't figure out what he's going to do with that opt-out. And they can add pieces that will be strong, a la Trevor Bauer and a la Scott Rowland back in 2009, and get ready for a huge run in 2022.
My fear with trading Nick Castellanos is, which I hope they're going to sign him, but I don't know why he would decide to spend money now when he hadn't done it all year.
Yeah.
But with him out of the lineup, it is huge. I mean, I think the team is completely different without Nick in this lineup. And I think it's shown since the All-Star break. The offense has been okay. Yeah, we've had some games where we scored some good runs, but then we got blown out twice, Yeah. So it's this team has taken on his personality and everything. And I think he means more to this team than just a bat. And to me, that's more than enough reason for Bob to pick up or buy out the option. I don't think he's going to do it, but yeah.
I would agree. And I mean, who knows what that number is? That's a territory hitherto unknown for most, sports fans, let alone Reds fans. So what on earth Bob has to do, and the fact that he's got to negotiate with Scott Boras, it's not as if he's got a super benevolent agent to deal with there. That's one of the most ruthless and does well for his clients, not necessarily so well for the team type guy. So that might be kind of rough. Plus, you may not even get any sort of commitment as to what it would take. So it's such a sticky situation that I was really hoping the Reds would be in firm competition, which, there's still the weekend to do that. But we're talking about a 3-game series against the Cardinals that, as of tonight, as they begin play Mahle against Wade LeBlanc, the Cardinals are a half game behind them in the standings because the Cardinals have the same amount of wins and only one more loss than the Reds do at this point in the season.
So, yeah, the worst case scenario is by the end of this weekend, the Cardinals could jump us. That would not be good. That happens. They're going to pull the cord on this, I think. I mean, I like I said, I try to be as optimistic as I absolutely can, but I also try to be a realist about this. And if Bob hasn't done anything yet or let them do anything yet, I don't know if he's going to. But I got to get to crown up kids here statement. And every single time I have a Reds person on here, he has to ask. At least he added Nick Lodolo to this. But ask him about Lodolo and Hunter Green. Do you think they will? I guess he's one of those. Will they be up this year? I think they might be up in September. And I've been telling Crown this all year, but what's your thoughts?
I think it's going to be interesting to see with Lodolo because he's dealt with that blister issue for a good amount of time during this season. So they may want to be a little bit more cautious with them. I honestly think both of these guys are in the plans for opening day next year. I mean, as far as being on the roster goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whatever they do this year might just kind of be, sour. I about said sour cream. Whipped cream on top of the sundae. Who puts sour cream on a sundae?
That's kind of interesting.
Tell you what, the Reds need to win. I got to get my mind right.
Right.
But I think that it would just kind of be an added flavor. I don't necessarily look at Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo as answers to questions that the Reds have in the bullpen right now, simply because I don't want them to stunt any sort of possible growth they might have. The priority for their top prospects this year, and I include Jose Barrero in this too, is comfortable progression. And if you in any way damage that plan, then not only have you failed in the standings and in the win-loss column, but you've also failed the future of your franchise. And I don't want them to do that in the slightest, because these dudes, like Nick Lodolo is projected to be a middle of the rotation type pitcher for a long time. Hunter Green is projected to be like a Max Scherzer, like Cy Young Award candidate year in and year out. And if we do anything to damage that, and for some reason you see like in a Aroldis Chapman scenario where he gets stuck in the bullpen, then that is a massive failure.
Yeah. I've said that a couple of times. That's one example is Aroldis Chapman. The other one I always use is Homer Bailey. I think it's stunted Homer Bailey's growth, and I don't know if Homer Bailey ever really got to the point where we all expected. Yes, he threw 2 no-hitters, but he was never the man. He was never the number one guy for the Reds. It just wasn't. And that's where I think Hunter Green can be. And Lodolo definitely could be a number 2 or number 3 starter for us in the future for sure.
I always think about Homer Bailey and the 2 no-hitters as kind of like what they talk about with like grading curves, where you take out the highest and the lowest. So if you take out his best performances, the 2 no-hitters, and maybe like pick 2 of his worst performances, what was he? He was a pretty average pitcher. A middle of the rotation guy that, you were happy for the most part to see come out of the rotation, except for that last year he was a Red. And that is not at all what I want to see. Now, I say this with the caveat that Hunter Green, so far as maturity, so far as understanding of the game, and so far as the fact that he is just one smart dude, is completely different from Homer Bailey. Everything that I've ever heard anyone talk about Homer Bailey was he was one of the most talented dudes in the room, but he was outthought by half the roster. No matter who, there was at least half the guys there that had better composure and was able to focus on each individual performance a lot more than Homer Bailey. Homer Bailey would get distracted by a bunch of different negative things and negative media attention and things like that. And that's just not something that Hunter Green is going to have affect him. I mean, you listen to this dude talk and he already sounds like he's been playing the game for 10 years. I can't wait to see him get up to the major league. He's going to be so good for this team.
Exactly. And got a comment here from Jared Mayer. Issues with Green is his command. I agree with it. He needs to gain control of all of his pitches. The only time I saw him pitch was in spring training when he threw 105 miles an hour, and that's what everybody's like, ooh, he threw 105 miles an hour. Okay, Aroldis Chapman can throw 100 miles an hour. If he throws it down the middle, they're going to hit it. So he's like, I agree with Jared. He's got to get control of this, and he's still working on that. I mean, it's not like he's went to AAA and he's just dominated. I mean, he's had some games where he's given up some hits and some runs, and he's had some pretty good games. So I don't necessarily know if he might come up in September because the minor league season will most likely be over, so he can get some more innings in and some more work. But I don't see him or Lodolo coming up anytime before then.
I don't think so either. And I remember reading an article, I think it was Bobby Nightingale had this article in the Inquirer, but he was talking with a couple of different AAA players, a couple of different, opposing batters and things like that who had faced Hunter Green. And they said, boy, he throws a really fast fastball, but as far as the secondary offerings, I'm not biting on those. So I'm waiting on the fastball. I'm trying to time it. I'm trying to catch up to it. So what are major league hitters going to do? They're going to be right on it from the word go. So he's got to make sure he can command those secondary pitches each and every time he goes to throw them, and not just one out of every 2 or 3 times. So I say all that to say this: there's still plenty of room for him to grow before he makes it to the major leagues.
Exactly. Now I got a comment from Tom Neekum. I think that's how you say his name. Do you think with all the trade talk, it could be getting to the players' heads and making them not focus? I personally don't, because I don't think there's that much trade talk, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's the trade talk. I think it's hey, we scored 7 runs in the first 2 innings against the Mets, and then the bullpen blew it.
That's got to wear on you. I mean, that has got to be hard. I mean,
and that's across the board. Yeah.
Yes, that I love this team that they don't quit. But jeez, oh man, you got to be sometimes. They got to be sometimes looking at the bullpen going, "Hello,
yeah,
what are you doing? You know, you guys have pitched in the majors. I mean, dude, they've like I said, we had a 7-run lead or 7-3 lead against the Mets or something. 7-3, yeah, 7-3. They lost that. They gave up I'll never forget this, a 6-run lead in 1 inning in San Diego.
Yeah.
Mentally, how do they keep coming back from this? And eventually, it's got to get just. I'm frustrated. I can't imagine being a player with going through this.
Right, and that's the thing that we all. It takes me a moment, especially whenever it happens during the game, to kind of remember this. These dudes are humans too, so like they're going to be really like as much anger as we might have to a blown lead. They probably have more. And it's not a thing that they can get into the dugout and express their anger to their teammates, because their teammates are going to look at them sideways. This is kind of like the thing, like if you're at your daily job and, you know, Johnson's over here in the corner messing up, then you're not going to like just sit there and, you know, bellyache about it right there in the office. You're going to wait till you get home. That's what these guys are doing. They're not going to do that in the locker room or the dugout or something like that, because that fosters negative energy within the team. I think that these guys probably go home and they just stare at a wall for like an hour. Like, what do we got to do? How many runs do we have to get? Yeah. like do a shot for every run we got to get next game to get a better lead. Like, come on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was listening to Lance McAllister the other night, and when you said that, it just triggered something that a caller of his brought up. I'm talking about Eugenio Suarez and how frustrating it is to watch him. And he's like, that guy, he struck out, and all he did was drop his bat down and set his helmet down. Man, he should have been breaking his bat, throwing it. I'm like, dude, seriously, what? That doesn't do any good. Oh, yeah, it makes us feel better. Like, okay, he does care. Trust me, he cares. He doesn't want to strike out. But good.
If he'd have done it after that at bat, then why didn't he do it after all the other strike? I mean, he would have gone through a lot of bats this year if he'd been doing that.
Well, that's what kills me about sports fans in general. They're always like, you got to have the rah-rah. You got to get in somebody's butt. You got to get us. No, if you do, especially baseball, if you're playing 162 games, you cannot go up and down and up in motion like this. You're going to be wore out by the All-Star break. And that's one thing I love about Nick Castellanos. He's very calm and cool, you know, in his demeanor. And that's what you have to do to be a professional athlete. You have to be calm. You have to take the ups with the downs. And, you know, I don't know if Gino's going to have an up anymore. I mean, I when Lance was on the show with me a couple weeks ago, and I think I said this with you before when you've been on the show a couple times, I think this is more of what Gino Suarez is now. I mean, it's been more than a year. I mean, it's 60 games last year. You know, we're over 60 games. We're at 90 something games now, aren't we? Something like 95 games or something like that. Yeah. So we're well over a year of baseball, and this is the way he hits. I mean, I think, unfortunately, I think we're stuck. We went from having this great contract for a guy who's hitting almost 50 home runs to, oh man, we're stuck with this guy who can't, you know, hit his way out of a wet paper bag, and we're paying him $11 million a year. I don't know what to do with Gino. I mean, I don't know.
It's unfortunate because I was thinking in May, I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way. He's definitely going to bounce back. He's going to have a much better year. Now you got to look at it and you got to wonder, is he going to get to that threshold? And, you know, batting average is not really a great measuring stick anymore. It's part of the picture. It's not the whole picture. But when you look at that part of the picture and you say, is he going to get to 200 or more by the end of the season? I think most people would say no. Like, a lot of people would love to be optimistic and say yes, but the biggest question with him is what is up with that shoulder? Because ever since he dealt with that injury before the 2020 season, and then it got pushed back, and then he finally came out in July, ever since 2020, he has been a different player that does not have good at bats. He's got some at bats where it looks like he is determined to swing at whatever pitch comes up there, and he strikes out. And then he's got some at bats where it looks like he is determined to either only swing at pitches right down the middle or to draw a walk, and then he strikes out looking. It's very frustrating to watch Eugenio Suarez play baseball right now. And I think they've got to be honest and figure out, is it the shoulder? because he's become a completely different player over these last 2 years.
He's missing balls that he didn't miss. I mean, he had a very, very quick bat on the inside pitch. He's missing those. I mean, they're right there. And I'm like, I know 2 years ago he would yank those out of the ballpark, and he's missing them. That's the part that scares me, because I can see pitches that I know he used to hit, and he's either late or he's swinging over the top of them. It's just not there. And I mean, Jared has a good comment here, which he's still on pace for 30 homers and 100 RBIs. He's Donkey Jr., which that's a reference to Adam Dunn, which actually, have you listened to Sean Casey's podcast, The Mayor's Office?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I love that podcast. And I'm Sean Casey, I know you're watching. Someday come on my podcast. I would appreciate it. But he had Adam Dunn on there. And I always wondered this about Adam. When Adam first came up, he was a very selective hitter. He could hit for average. I mean, Bob Boone had him at leadoff because he was such a good player of getting on base. And I always wondered what the heck happened. And he didn't name any names, but he actually said that he had a off-season hitting coach that people warned him about, don't use because they'll mess your swing up or whatever. And he didn't listen. And he said he used it anyway. And that kind of messed his swing up, got him into bad habits. He said that I could never get out of. And I'm wondering if this kind of correlates to what Gino's doing. He's got something there he just can't fix.
It's highly possible. And the interesting argument with Gino is that I forget what year it is, either 2015 or 2016. It's between him and Mike Trout as the most home runs in Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. So yes, he still has the power. The only thing is, when you look at the composite statistic of OPS plus, which is another great tool, a little bit better than batting average, to kind of see the whole picture as to what Gino brings to the plate. We're talking about numbers like 144 for Nick Castellanos in the OPS plus realm, 126 for Jesse Winker, 109 for Joey Votto, 113 for Jonathan India. Eugenio Suarez is at 56. Ooh. And 100 is league average. So he's almost 50% worse than a league average hitter. Those are numbers that are lower than Billy Hamilton, lower than Jose Peraza, names from the past that when you say immediately, like, to fans this year, they're like, oh yeah, those guys, glad we moved on from them.
Right.
Gino's in that same conversation.
And the thing is, I don't see anybody, like, I can't see a team out there just saying the offseason going, you know what? We need to trade for Gino. I think we trade for him, and he's going to come here and get back to the old Gino. I don't think that's going to happen. And that, to me, going into this offseason presents a problem, because Jonathan India, in my mind, you don't move him from second. He's your future second base. You keep him there. You have Mike Moustakas, who's a third baseman. You have Gino, who's a third base. Both of them are signed. Moose has got another two more years on his contract. What do you do at third base? I mean, neither one. We're not. You and me both said put Gino, at shortstop at the beginning of the year. Forget it. Don't put Gino at shortstop. Nope. Did not work. Don't do it.
We were wrong.
Yeah, we're wrong. Don't do it. I mean, I think Jose Barreto is probably could be our opening day shortstop next year.
Should be.
So what do they do? I mean, what would that? I don't. I mean, it could help. Now, one thing somebody did bring this up. If they bring in, and my dog is trying to get into the conversation too. If the National League gets the DH next year, that could help the Reds out as far as getting Moose and Gino in the lineup, which, I mean, I think Gino would be the DH and Moose would be your third baseman, because Moose is a way better defensive third baseman than Gino is. But just what's your thoughts in general about the future of the third base and what you think they might do?
It's going to be interesting, because I've really, at least over the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to implore whoever from the Reds front office might actually listen to the Locked On Reds podcast to be realistic about this, to look at this objectively, because is Gino a nice guy? Yeah. Is he one of the fan favorites? Sure. Yes. Is he like an awesome guy to root for because of his personality, his family man style, all this other stuff? Absolutely. But when it boils down to it, we're talking about wins and losses. We're talking about runs scored. We're talking about hits and batting average and things like that. And he has not really helped out in that regard these last 2 years. I mean, he has been a detriment in the lineup this year. So many missed opportunities. We're talking about runners with scoring position. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look good in any situation. this year. It's been really frustrating to watch. And like I even go back to just this past Monday, whenever the Mets were handing out runs like candy in the first couple of innings because all of the bad defense and stuff, dude still went over. He didn't get a hit in that game. And those are the kind of games that even the average players use to get right.
That's the red flag right there. That's the part that scares me about this. You know, he can't. He's not the Geno of old. I just, I don't know. I'm no expert, obviously. I don't know what it is, but Jared has another comment here, and you and me are actually talking about this off air. He said, I think he's hurt, which I don't know if he's actually hurt. I just don't know if the shoulder's back to normal or whatever. It's now time to look at Lopez. He's up? He looks really good, and I actually said that to you off the air. I said, I think they should bench Geno and put Lopez in there and at least see what the kid can do. I mean, he's hit at every level. To me, and I'm not bagging the season, but you gotta, if this kid is anything, you gotta find out what you have. And if Geno isn't hitting, Moose is injured and he's coming back soon, why not put Lopez out there at third base and see what he can do?
I would agree with that. And I think it's interesting because when he was up the first time, they gave him a couple of starts and he didn't quite take the ball and run with it then.
Right.
And so then they sent him back down. They were like, okay, that's it. That's all we need to see. And it's like, no. We need some more chances here for this poor kid. I mean, he's his first time up in the major leagues. So I think now is the time to look it up and to check it out, what you got with Alejo Lopez. And here we go. We get the starting lineup for tonight's game, and Geno's batting fifth and playing third base.
Yep. I don't get it.
I wish that they would give Lopez more of a run because I totally agree with the comment. Like Alejo Lopez has earned the chance, the opportunity to do that, and he's gotten like literally 3 swings of the bat against.
Well, the thing is too is if he is prove he's capable of hitting in the major leagues, that's a potential trade piece. If because I'm sorry, he's gonna be more if he can hit in the major league, he's gonna be more of a tradable asset than Moose or Geno is because they're both older and Moose has been injured prone the last 2 years for the Reds. Geno can't hit. We need bullpen. Alejo Lopez is sitting right there. If he's proven he can hit, that's something a team would be looking at to trade for down the stretch in the offseason, something like that.
Right. And I mean, you almost hesitate to say a take like this, but can Alejo Lopez be worse than Eugenio Suarez? Sure, but what's that margin? Yeah. Not very big.
Right.
We're not talking about like he's really big drop off in talent right now because Geno just hasn't shown it, and he hasn't shown it over a big sample. We're not talking about like a month. We're not talking about 50, 60 at bats. We're talking about almost a full season worth of games. We're talking 156 games now.
Yep.
It's ridiculous the amount of data we have on him and the amount of struggles that he has had and the amount of just absolute free pass that the team has continued to give him. And I can't believe it. I really wish that there was something more positive to say about Geno because he's such a great guy. It's just been frustrating.
I love Geno. I think he's a great guy. He's a great guy in the clubhouse, but it's what have you done for me lately? And no matter if we like him or not, if you're not producing, you're not producing. Now, Crip Keeper here wants to know when's TJ Anton coming back. But I'll put it this way: what about Sims or when Sims coming back? Senzel and Moose. What have you heard about those guys?
I know that Antone has started a bullpen session, so he should be close to a rehab assignment. Lucas Sims is currently on a rehab assignment, so hopefully within the next week or two, we should be seeing him back. Senzel as well is on a rehab assignment. The news is better about Moose because for a long time, it just every time they had an update about Moose, it was negative. At least now they say that he's healthy. He's taking ground balls. He may be progressing to the thought of a rehab assignment coming up soon, but none of those guys are going to be back before the trade deadline. It's probably going to be early to mid-August at the earliest before we see any of them coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Moose, we haven't seen him since May.
Yeah.
May. If he comes back in August, I mean, that's over half the season he missed. I mean, now, again, I listen to lots of different podcasts, and you might have said it. I don't remember. But Nick Senzel has been taking grounders at shortstop there at GABP. And I think Larkin said this on the broadcast that he didn't see them putting him at shortstop because Barrera was there. But somebody, I can't remember who I heard it from, but somebody said that he's slated to play at shortstop at Louisville. Is I correct on that, or have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, they said he's going to play mostly shortstop and third base there in Louisville because I think they kind of know what they got in center field. They're not going to go too crazy with that. And they know that he can play there. He doesn't have to play a ton of center to prove anything to anybody. But I think that it's more just a short-term patch. I mean, that's basically all they've done at shortstop this season is, okay, well, who can get us there? Who can get us to 2022? Because I don't know that they want to bring up Jose Barrero and hand him the keys to shortstop at any point this season. Maybe they bring him up in September and they kind of ease him in. But at most, it's going to be next year that Barrero gets that job. And I firmly believe he's going to be ready for it next year. And I don't think they're going to try and bring him up before he's ready. So that's why they're working him in, not necessarily as a long-term option, but as a, well, we definitely don't want to put Gino there. Farmer's got a nice glove, but his bat is really becoming a detriment because he gets a nice hit 1 out of every 5 at bats is kind of how it feels with Kyle Farmer. So you want to see if you can get the best of both worlds because Senzel's athletic and he's shown a good glove at second and third. He should, I believe for the last couple of years, I've kind of been saying, why not try him out at shortstop? And I think that they're finally just coming around to the realization that, well, need is the best creator. And right now we really need somebody to play shortstop.
Yeah, they don't have a choice at this point. Now, Jared's got a interesting comment here, I think. Infield depth right now is insane. I know it's being a dead horse, but Senzel isn't the issue. The issue is Votto. I'm not sure what issue Votto is. I don't know. I'll let you take that one because I know you're a huge Votto fan, so I'm kind of interested in your comment on that one.
This isn't really even being biased about him. The expected statistics on Baseball Savant say that Joey Votto is one of the best hitters in the lineup, and in fact, whenever you take Nick Castellanos out of the lineup, Joey Votto is the best hitter in the Reds lineup as far as average exit velocity goes. He hits the ball the hardest. So far as expected batting average and expected slugging, he is up there as well. And they love exactly what he has done with his approach to hitting. That's why the Reds are batting him third and fourth in the lineup. They trust Joey Votto and the resurgence that he has made. Is he the best fielder at first? No, but what 37-year-old first baseman was?
Like, he's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen what happens when he goes on the IL and they have to fill in with Tyler Stevenson and Alex Blandino. Stevenson did an admirable job, but the area where Joey Votto was far and away better than anybody who filled in for him at first base was scooping the ball. He was a phenomenal stretch and scoop guy there at first base, and he really helps make a lot more outs than he gives up or than other guys help make with their ability to stretch and scoop because he's just that much better than anybody else on the roster. So I definitely don't think that Votto is any sort of issue at first base. In the future, will they look to put him at DH? Yeah, absolutely. But that's what you do when you're an aging baseball player. For the most part, in years past, if you're an aging first baseman, you look to go to the American League. Now, next year with the Reds and the rest of the National League, hopefully getting the universal DH, that won't be a problem anymore. And they still got him under contract for a couple of years. That's going to how they're be able to get the most out of what remains on his contract. I definitely don't see Joey Votto as anywhere near. In fact, he might be one of the strongest players outside of Jonathan India in the infield right now.
I could have said it better because I've been very, very pleasantly, I don't want to say pleasant, but very, very happy with the way Votto has batted this year. And it all changed last year, I think, when, Dave Bell sat him down for those 4 games or whatever. And going into spring training this year, I heard him make a statement say, I can't do the stuff that I used to do before. And he goes, I'm just trying to find a good pitch and do damage with it and not trying to be so particular all the time, which I'm sorry. I don't know how many Reds fans I've heard. I wish he'd just swing. I wish he just swing the bat. He does that stupid half swing. He's waiting for the perfect pitch. Just swing. Well, this year, he's just swinging. So, Jared, I appreciate the comment. I don't get it. I wish you'd make another comment on here to try to explain what you're you're meaning by Votto's the issue, because like we just said here, he with Castellanos not in the lineup, he's probably the best bat in the lineup next to Jonathan India. But I would love to discuss Jonathan India. I think he has first of all, I think he is the best leadoff hitter the Reds have had in I don't remember when, to be honest. I mean, I go back to Chris Sabo, Bip Roberts, Pete Rose. I mean, those are the three. When I think of leadoff hitter, Pete Rose obviously first, but those are the three guys I can think of that were anywhere adequate and good at leadoff. What Jonathan India is doing at leadoff with his on-base percentage for a rookie is ridiculous. I can't be more ecstatic about it, because one longer they were talking about that India might be a good utility player. Dude, he could have been an all-star. He could be rookie of the year.
Yeah, he's got a legitimate argument. Trevor Rogers may end up winning it from Miami just because he's pitched so amazing, but Jonathan India should be a very close second. He is the best leadoff hitter statistically since 2013, whenever Shin-Soo Choo was chewing up some on-base percentage. He had an on-base over 430. He had a slugging over 500. He was absolutely phenomenal. And that was that 1-year rental that the Reds got and then handed the reins to Billy Hamilton. I love Billy, but
that never did work out. I was so excited about Billy Hamilton. I'm like, man, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, dude couldn't take a pitch. And Jonathan India, man, he's got a batter's eye for the ages.
Yes.
He does not get fooled. And the whole hit by pitch thing, I don't know if that's going to be like a thing for his career, if he's going to challenge Craig Biggio and Huey Jennings or not. But I just love his ability to get on base, and he still has power. He showed it the other day with that leadoff home run. And whenever you add that all in there, it really just strikes me how much in the most recent years, even just this past preseason, where we talked about Jonathan India only in the vein of, boy, what could the Reds get for him? If they put him in a trade, they could probably get so-and-so, or they could probably get that pitcher, or they could get that dude in the lineup over there. And man, I'm so glad that they didn't do any of that and that they handed him the leadoff reins, because ever since he started leading off, I think his on-base percentage is over 430. It's right there with Shin-Soo Choo. Didn't quite have the slugging percentage or the strong bat that Choo had, but he still is very adept at dropping in the singles where they ain't and getting on base for Winker and Castellanos behind them to knock him in.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Choo. I completely forgot about him. He was a great leadoff hitter for that 2012 team. I totally forgot about him.
He's a hindsight's 2020 sort of, but only because you wish they could have kept him. But the only way they would have kept him is if they ponied up some cash, because the Rangers paid him pretty handsomely in the offseason. So that probably doesn't happen even if you go back in time. But it would have been nice if he. Yeah.
I was like, I saw how much the Rangers paid for him. I'm like, I love him, but dude, that's way too much money for him. Anyway, Jared has a comment on his Joey Votto thing. He said, when I say issues, I mean it by means of Suarez and Moose clustering situation we have at third. It would clear up a lot of the position issues we have. We have the players in place, but the positions we play them, we are strapped because we don't have a DH.
I can kind of see what he means there. He's kind of talking about, with Votto still there at first base, you could move Moose over to first. You could move a couple of guys over there, but that would also be something I want to.
Yeah, or you could just not play Gino and put Moose in third.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not take, we don't have a DH. I wouldn't take out one of our best hitters to move Moose over there, which Moose is right now. None of that matters. I mean, Moose is hurt. He's not playing. So you're not moving Votto anyway. So I kind of understand what he's saying, but there's not in my opinion, there's not a point to it right now, because one, Moose is hurt, and two, if, like I said, when Moose comes back, if Gino doesn't start hitting, I'm taking Gino out of lineup and putting Moose at third and keeping Votto at first. That's me. But
if nothing else, at least a righty lefty split. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. Like the Reds need to be able to explore other options than to just run Gino out there every single day and hope that whatever has not changed to this point suddenly magically flip-flops, because it's just not happening.
Yeah, he's right. It doesn't matter now, but it will be an issue in the horizon. And that's kind of what I was talking about with the third base issue. And I mean, there's part of me, and if that's why I'd love to find out what Lopez could do as far as the future goes. If he can hit and he's young, and I don't think anybody's going to take these guys off our hands, but I would be almost in favor of trading Gino and trading Moose if Lopez can hit like he does in AAA, of making him the third baseman, and next year Lopez and Barreto as your third baseman and your shortstop. At least we have guys who can catch the ball, and it looks like if they can hit in the majors like they hit in the minors, you got guys who can hit for average and some power, and save that money to keep Nick Castellanos.
Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, I don't know. They kept saying that the money that they were saving on Iglesias and Bradley was going to be repurposed.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the repurposing was for this. I don't know.
Well, what did they repurpose? Lance McAllister brought that up on my show. He said, what did they repurpose it for? He's like, I still haven't found an answer to that. I said, neither am I. I have no idea. But, Jeff, it is 6:20, and I appreciate you coming on, and I know it's Friday night, and actually, I want to wish you a happy anniversary. Tomorrow, I think it is your anniversary.
Well, actually, it's Tuesday, but we're going to celebrate tomorrow.
Well, happy anniversary for Tuesday. Either way, happy anniversary, buddy. Thanks for coming on, dude. And we'll definitely have to do is tell everybody where they can find you, talk about your show, and all that stuff before you get out of here.
Absolutely, Jeff. You can find me at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs on Twitter. You can find the show at Locked On Reds. You can follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we're now also on YouTube as well. So just look up Locked On Reds. We'll be on the YouTube channel. But yeah, thanks again, Jeff. For always have a good time talking with you.
No problem. Hey, do me a favor. Next time you're on your Locked On podcast, just give Strawberry Ash a shout out. Yeah, give me a little love. All right, brother. Take it easy. Thanks, man.
See you,
buddy. We got a super chat here real quick from Hank. What's up? The Cleveland Guardians, oh my goodness, is the dumbest name ever, and their logo is just ridiculous. Oh yeah, I saw that come out on Twitter, Hank, and at first I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Who are the Cleveland Guardians? What? I'm like, what? But I mean, I kind of think they did Guardians instead of Indians. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Well, they could have just been the Cleveland baseball team, like the Washington football team. Yeah, I don't think it's a very good name, but it is what it is. I mean, you got the Seattle Kraken. You know, they're running out of names. That's the problem. We're running out of names here. But I appreciate the $5 super chat, Hank. You are the man. Love it. All righty. So it's like I said, it's about 6:22. I appreciate every single one of you guys. It is Friday. It's the weekend. Let's get to the YouTube channel. I do that every time. The YouTube channel. Let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And I invite all of you guys to join them if you have not joined them yet. They are Houday Nation, Bengals Nation, Bengals Houday Nation, Cincinnati Bengals The Jungle, Bearcat Country, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Twitter at Jeff A. Trenopole, TikTok at Iceman90. I'll be pulling up the sound later on tonight. So if you missed any of the conversation with Ken Riley II, talking about his father going into the Ring of Honor, to Jeff Carr and us discussing the Reds, I don't want to say debacle. They might come back. They might not. Like I said, I'm as optimistic as a fan as it gets. But right now, I'm trying to live in reality. Doesn't look good. If they trade Nick Castellanos, I'm going to cry. I'll be a 46-year-old man crying because I love that dude. But you can check that out all on the podcast later on tonight. On BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you rate, like, review, download it, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Because, sitting there like, I get about 10, 15 people downloading or listening to my podcast today. I'm like, I think that's pretty good. Talking to Jeff Carr. He gets about 1,000. I'm like, holy crap. All right, I'm peon. I'm way down here. So let's try to get that up. YouTubers, my originals. This is where I have the most followers, subscribers. I love it. Appreciate you guys. I'm at 1,242. We've made some huge jumps the last couple days. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chats this week, guys. You guys have been awesome. The Bengals training camp starts next week. I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. Because you know why? When the season's over, all us Bengals fans are going to be right. And the Bengals are going to be really, really good. Now, as my boy, Jeremy D's Nuts Dimebag Dean always says, remember one thing and one thing only. And that is, you don't live in Cleveland. Thank God you live in Cincinnati. Hooday. Have a great weekend. See you guys Monday. And that's just sports, baby. See ya! You're about to enter the world of strawberry ice and the ice cave. Let's go!
You know, the league rule was you're not really supposed
Probably
to
take him out of that conversation. And that
He started from absolute scratch.
I would draft Azeez Ojulari or any.
Nobody's doing 7-step drops in
playing tackle for him. So it's.
He's almost 22 years old. Devonta Smith, same thing. You just can't. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I thought that 2010
that should be in the Hall of Fame, and they put him in after he is gone. So that's why
to fill the stadium.
I remember you guys saying that.
It's crazy.
I see that he's taken the non.
But overall, that line wasn't better.
No,
they still.
He's talking to the refs and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to get those calls."
He's coming. He's coming, and he's being section 158 with me. So
these guys have learned basically since they've been in the major leagues.